Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Hey, Daniel. How are you doing? I have a son named Daniel. He's kind of a pain. So I just decided to go live, chasing around a 5-year-old. And she's been a chatterbox today. And so we did work outside. We did work inside. Just time to relax. And to see what everybody's up to. Let's see. Share a video real quick. Regina, good to see you. Hope everybody's doing well. No more storms. Craziness going on. We went from storms to 90s. It's hot. Hi, Indy. Good to see you. You might recognize the title. I think in your 6 hours of music, I heard that song. Never know. I don't know how I found it. Had to be through you. So I'm going to share this video. Let me see. First, let me find it so that it comes right up when I go to it. Someone sang it. Probably Lady Campion. Seems like maybe. Okay. Found the video, so it'll be the first one to pop up. Hey, Sharon, good to see you. And here we go.
I'd like to talk to you tonight about a great lady. And she was just that, a very great lady. And a celebrity, which is something else, of course. A toast of society. On top of that, she was a suffragette, a sort of great-grandmother of woman's lib, and one of the finest singers in this country. Her name was Miss Julia Ward Howe. Here she is in the happy autumn of her brilliant life. Now, Miss Julia was born before photography was invented, and though there were cameras by the time Miss Julia had grown up to be beautiful, and she was, you know, very beautiful. If there is a photo made of her back in her youthful days as a breaker of hearts, I haven't been able to find it. Never mind. After all this time, we still remember her with so much affection because of some words she wrote for a song. I don't think there's any argument that it's the greatest song ever to come out of America, and hers are the greatest lyrics. The music started well ahead of the words. It started in church and then moved out into the battlefield. It began as a hymn and grew to be the most heart-quickening marching song in all history. It's quite a story. Before the Civil War, there was an old man named Brown who tried to start a civil war all on his own. An angry old man who reckoned it wasn't enough just to say that slavery was wrong. Something had to be done about it. Slaves had to be set free. So he and his sons and a few other people picked up their guns and tried to do just that. It didn't work, of course. Nobody was freed. Old Mr. Brown was caught and tried for treason and hanged. He was either a martyred hero or a bloodthirsty villain, depending on your viewpoint. It's an argument that's still going on. You can dispose of me, he said, standing on the scaffold. You can dispose of me very easily. This other matter has not been disposed of. This Negro question, I mean. The end of that It's not yet. Well, they buried him. Not so long afterwards, that crazy private battle of his broke out so publicly that it all but broke our nation in two. It very nearly destroyed us. And early on in that terrible Civil War of ours, a few soldiers picked up that half-forgotten hymn tune and improvised some words, and pretty soon an army was marching to it. Maybe what old Brown had done in life was unlawful, but the spirit moving him was freedom. A spirit in our land we like to think can never die. That's the sense of what the soldiers were singing. John Brown's body lies a moldering in the grave, but his soul goes marching on. Carried the whole Union Army into battle. Well, Miss Howe was the lady who made it the battle hymn of the Republic. The whole Republic. A nation, as Miss Howe's great admirer, Mr. Lincoln, so greatly put it. Dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Her song was for all of us to sing, and all of us to live by. She'd had a sleepless night. This happened in Washington, the old Willard Hotel, and somehow just before dawn, those words all came to her all at once, as though some other hand had written them and passed them on to her. So Miss Julia Howe got up out of her hotel bed and found, as she said later, an old stub of a pen, and as daybreak lightened over a sleeping city, sat down at the window and got it all written out before the sun had reached the paper. Those words of hers still help to bind and hold us. A song not for half a nation to march to, but for a whole people to stand up and sing together. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. In the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea, with a glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. As he died to make men holy, let us die to make men free, while God is marching on.
Eric, thank you. Welcome, as always. Creepy ending. What? Hi, Wildlife. How are you? B- This is the week leading into Memorial Day. Today that we honor all that have fallen fighting for this country. And so I'll probably be sharing a lot more like that. There's the link if anybody wants to come up. And that's kind of the title to the song too. Or the song that is the title. Sorry. My mind's all over the place. Hey, Lauren. Good to see you. So when I was looking for a cover of that song, there was a lady, and it kind of looked like she was in a church on the stage. I'm not sure. She was on the stage. She was a black woman. And she said that while they were following Mr. King, that they went into a restaurant and sat down at a table, and a waitress came out, and, well, the waitress went in the back as soon as they went in and sat down. And she didn't come out for quite a while, and she finally came out and started screaming at them, "Get out of here, get out of here." And they all just locked arms, and they started singing that song. And that's kind of the way I see we need to be. We're fixing to go into June, and who knows what's going on, but I just think we need to stand a little more vigilant and together. So, y'all want to hear the song? I'm going to say that ending again. And Frog, what's wrong with you? I don't understand your comment. Can't imagine him with a wife. And for the record, since that was brought up, just so all of y'all know, I'm not on here looking for a husband. That was said. I was like, oh, you don't know me very well, do you? Excuse me. Frog is in heat. Okay. Let's see. I was battling. I don't know. Hopefully this is a cover song. I guess we'll find out the hard way. Just get your spirits up, maybe.
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. Union is behind us. We shall not be moved. The union is behind us. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We're fighting for our freedom. We shall not be moved. Fighting for our freedom. We shall not be like a tree that's planted by the wall. We shall not be moved. Fighting for our children, we shall not be moved. We're fighting for our children, we shall not be moved like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. Black and white together, we shall not be moved. Black and white together, we shall not be just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be. Oh, we shall not be moved. We shall not be just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. Well, now we shall not be moved. Oh, we shall not be just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be. Oh, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved.
Frog, you pushing it tonight, honey. And that's another thing. I call y'all honey or sweetie. Please do not take it as something. It just is said. People get kind of crazy on here sometimes. A lot of times. Sort of. No, it does not, Black Watch. It was a good song. Yes. So, let's see. What else was I going to talk about? I didn't make any notes. This was kind of an impromptu. Just gotta talk to people. You can only talk about so much with a 5-year-old. Although she's learning pretty quick. Absolutely, what life. It's true. Yep. I still think we have a lot more freedoms than we realize. We can still get in our car and go wherever. And that's what I'm fixing to do, actually. Next week, I am hitting the road. I've been really antsy about a trip, and so I'm going to take one. I'm off for the week and or a little more. Yes, you're free to be a jerk. And still go to the grocery store and buy things. We can still get things we don't have to have, and things we do have to have. Okay, let's see what else I have that I wanted to share with y'all. There was something that I was like, what is this? Um, I don't know if y'all have seen it. Let's see. That's a good one. Here it is. Okay. Gotta meet Happy Plant something today. That's what I was just thinking. Wow, I thought I need to trim the lower leaves off of my tomatoes that are hanging in the dirt. All right. I don't know if I can mute this, so I'm going to share it the same way I have to mute. And y'all tell me what y'all think about this, because I really want y'all's opinion. It's different. Anything UFO, aliens, Bigfoot? Oh, yes. I don't know. I just heard about another one off the coast of California, I think. And I know there's video of it. I don't have it, but um, like missiles could be heading this way and UFOs deflecting them. Do the UFOs belong to us that have been hidden, or are they really UFOs? Could we possibly be being protected by aliens? I don't know. It raises a lot of questions. Hey, Wildlife, how are you?
Good evening. Man, I missed your video you was playing. Trying to come up here. It makes you go through 12 steps of identification now.
Oh, no. I know. Some things are getting weird with it.
It's,
Even just
yeah, I
to
don't
go
know.
to the stage, you gotta click on more things than you used to. It's weird.
It's all right, though. There's more pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah,
What was that? Something happening over Mexico? The video you played?
it was supposedly, that one, I think, was, hey, Virginia, um, okay, let me show it again, because I don't have to, I muted it so it doesn't have any sound.
I got you.
See if I can enlarge it. So to me, it's like that's ground attacking UFOs. I, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's like some Star Wars type stuff.
Yep. And that's supposed to be over Mexico. But the other one that I heard about was a well, just keep it playing. Was a UFO deflected a missile that was coming towards us.
At this point, it would take something just totally off the wall to really surprise me as far as stuff like that goes. I know there's been a lot of activity off the West Coast, like California, West Coast, Mexico
Yes,
region. Um, I don't know how detailed you can really talk about it, but like different naval expeditions, um, practice drills or whatnot. And
yes,
then when you started playing that video of what that video you just played, it made me think of this article that I read the other day where the Vatican, they had this big meeting of whoever the top people may be, and they talking about how to reclassify and talk about going forward with seeing stuff like this, like videos like you just showed, or quote unquote paranormal, UFO, UFAO, whatever the new term is. I don't even think it's UFO anymore. I think they reclassified it as, I don't know. But they had that big meeting, and supposedly, what's today's date? 17th, the 17th. I'd have to look it up or whatever, but somebody could look at the 17th. They released the reclassification files or whatnot on this stuff like that.
yeah. And well, I've been hearing them pushing aliens for at least a year now. And so
Oh, it's
I,
been ongoing.
yes, and but I could see where they would use it to their advantage. some way, or I don't know. I don't. I mean, I haven't seen aliens. I haven't seen spaceships, so I don't know if they're
Yeah.
there or not.
I've seen some weird stuff in the sky, but it's nothing like the video you just played or nothing like that. It was some stuff. I mean, I couldn't really explain it. People around me couldn't really explain it,
Yes,
but nothing that intense, I guess you would say. But I don't
details
know.
in the dark. Good to see you.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get you for the right price, you can get you a couple acres on Mars, they say. Go ahead and
Yeah.
get your plot. Go ahead and get your plot picked out now. Yeah.
And we know that there's a bunch of stuff we have that we don't know about. There's no telling what they can do. I haven't heard of anybody landing on Mars. I don't know how they would get there.
Yeah, I haven't met that guy either.
Oh no, it's TR-38.
Hmm.
How do you even know what the name of it is? I don't know.
No, sounds like a Terminator model.
Right? Maybe that's what we need. Terminators come in and just
I don't know.
clean it up.
I'm okay with not knowing a lot of stuff, but the curiosity of not knowing some things just leads your imagination to wonder.
Yes. And I think we all have pretty good imaginations.
Oh, you got to. These days, you got to. Hmm.
Folks who work in aerospace engineering answer on average 90% of what we see is ours or from Earth, but there is a fraction truly unidentified, unaccounted for. Yeah,
Yeah. Seriously doubt the Klingon Grand Commander is going to come ripping over California anytime soon, If we something we see, I mean, it could be a drone or anything.
Virginia, you want to come up?
But
She's pretty good at digging into these things too.
I definitely find them interesting, especially when sometimes you have to dig a little bit deeper and you might find a couple different videos around the same time, around a different place, and makes you
Yeah.
wonder.
Yeah. A lot of it I get sent to me. Sometimes something will pop up in my YouTube feed,
Oh yeah.
especially after I play something like that, then it'll really start.
Oh
So
yeah,
what do you
you get videos for like that a week.
Yes, at least the sleep videos have disappeared.
Yeah. Just give you a whole new batch to browse through.
um, oh, what was I going to ask you? What you think? It'll come back, hopefully.
Possibly.
Total Recall.
I think
Yeah,
it rained. I think it rained about every day this week here. It just passed.
I saw that y'all were having some weather.
Yeah.
Um, someone told me that there's a U shape on the United States, like the whole West Coast, and then southern states, and then up the East Coast, where they're getting uh, radioactive readings or something.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me.
I,
I just
Hey,
sorry, what?
You said that about the radioactive thing. It reminded me of an article I just read the other day where they did various tests at different waterways. Well, they've been doing it. I mean, we know it's happening, but the
Yes.
fish were popping up dead because of the forever chemicals done got so bad in the waters.
Oh, that's one I need to show y'all. Or have you? So Colorado, and I don't know where it is in Colorado, has this black sludge water, and apparently it's been 20 years since they've had this black sludge water, and it has tested radioactive. And the state is just now starting to address it.
ooh, interesting.
Yeah,
Was it normal water before and then all of a sudden became this, or is it like something new they found?
I would assume since they said it's been like that for 20 years that it used to be normal at one
Mhm.
time.
So it happened like that 20 years ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so people have just abandoned their homes to get away from it
Really?
because, yeah,
Huh.
If you just
What
walk
state?
away from your home, you know it's pretty bad, I guess. It would have to be.
For sure.
yes,
And what state did you say again?
Colorado.
Colorado. Huh.
I hadn't
Interesting.
heard anything about this. I'll look it up.
Yeah, they were doing a fire hydrant, and it was just nasty coming out of there. Just
Was it like sludge or like just like dark water?
let me see if I can pull that up. Hey,
Yeah.
Huckleberry.
Hey, Eimer. I'm curious if it was tested. You said it had some contamination, but I'm curious what did they find exactly?
Yeah,
And what's the source of it? That's the main question, you know?
yeah.
Is it a
It's
natural process or was that impregnated?
It would have to be impregnated. I mean, I hate to assume I've never been to Colorado, but I think of the various rivers and mountains, you would think they'd have some type of good sources.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um,
Yeah,
Well, I'm wondering
I would.
where in Colorado.
Let's see.
but then again,
Um,
what facilities are around there? You know, what's getting, who knows?
Hmm.
crud. Where did I see that? Who shared that with me? I get so many things shared with me.
I could see it being
Um,
around the city and maybe something went wrong somewhere and leached into.
I don't know. And yeah, so where would radioactive material be coming from
Mm-hmm.
to get in the water?
Oh, I wonder about, you know how there are places that store waste? They bury it deep underground in uninhabited areas. I wonder if it's something like that that busted open or something.
And it was a news station that was playing it.
Hmm.
What in the world did I? It's not in my saved things. Ah, okay, I'm gonna look there. Bean News. Oh, here it is.
Nice.
Okay, let me share this with y'all.
Cool. Very curious.
That's interesting. I was trying to find it myself, and I found this other article that says scientists say that Colorado is slated to run out of its water life by 2050.
Huh.
What is this? Get out of here.
Oh,
I
girl,
can't
I
get
don't know.
rid of.
Yeah, hit the thumbs down and get out of there.
Well, will that do it? No. And there's no X. There's no go away. I have been
Try and
getting this.
click the black part. Oh, no, that highlighted. Man, I've been seeing some weird stuff like this too. I came in right as you were talking about stuff in the sky, but I heard right before someone, or maybe it was in the chat, talking about how some of the stuff is loading weird on YouTube or on browsers, or just getting knocked out, or man, I don't know how to describe it. It's all been running really weird.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this is going to talk, so I'm going to have to mute while I'm sharing it.
Okay.
Oh, that looks horrible. You definitely don't want to drink that. Mm.
I'll go back and read it to y'all. Neighborhood in Morgan County becomes hazmat scene due to toxic sludge in drinking water. Well, here's what
I put an article in the back chat. I don't know if I don't know if it's any relation to what you're talking about. Could be.
This one under the CBS News, under that it says neighborhood Morgan County. The second sentence says it's contaminated with radioactive lead, uranium, and radium.
Oh, that's awful,
I'm
man.
Huh. Now what? Yeah, what would be the source of that? Radioactive lead?
yeah,
What is that used for? In a legit sense, it's got a use, certainly. All these things are used for something. Huh. Dang.
200 notices since 2017, but only after CBS News Colorado aimed a story last month did the state finally issue an enforcement order, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just, it's mostly been determined by engineers and other experts that we're facing a total system replacement, fire hydrants, pipeline, the treatment plant. It all just needs to be ripped out of the ground and replaced.
Mm.
Yeah, and then I see that residents' homes is contaminated with radioactive lead, uranium, and radium. Water filters, everything.
Oh, wow. So that sounds to me like a storage, something with nuclear storage broke and leached in.
Something failed.
Yep, something failed. Exactly.
Yeah. I can't think of
pretty
any.
sure they got a few places up there in the mountains where they would do something like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the runoff.
Yep.
That could be. I've never been to Colorado. I don't know where that county is, or
Was that Morgan County?
yes.
Yeah, I'm curious where that is for sure. I've been to Colorado a couple of times. Like, it's pretty interesting. Denver really is the mile high city, and it's sort of like on a plateau, and it's very sprawled out and very, very busy. But the most of the rest of Colorado is really mountainous and sprawled out. There's just a couple of pockets that are busy. So this, I'm gonna
Right.
guess, probably in the mountains with something that they were storing out there or doing or whatever. And
It's in the northeast corner, just northeast above Denver.
huh. Oh, how far from Denver? That'd be interesting. There's a lot going on in Denver.
Let's see.
Yeah. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Chuck.
Oh, y'all doing?
That's interesting near Denver. Huh.
Oh, we're just digging into.
Couple hours maybe, if
Okay.
that. But it's not far. It's the nearest city outside of it,
Hmm.
or the biggest county or whatever.
Well, isn't that where one of the mountains is that no one can go in? Is in
Denver,
Colorado.
they have that tunnel thing.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
knew that.
Hey, everybody.
It was the aliens.
My damn T key on my keyboard's acting up.
I've got pop-ups popping up and odd things happening.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember when I came in, Bonnie had just shown a video of some lights in the sky that, I mean, you could interpret it as just about anything. And I have wondered this, right? Like, any of you, if you saw something like that, or if you saw something crack out of the sky that was, you could say, an angel, what would you think? Would you think it was something good or not good? Or like Indy, I don't know if she's still here, but in our area, the aurora last weekend, I was sent several pictures where the sky literally looked like an angel. And so, like, would you think it was good or bad? Yes, this right here. I mean, that looks like it's coming from the ground, like you said, Bonnie. But some of them are flashing from above, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like whatever they're firing onto has like a protection or a shield, or it's like it's getting almost to them and stopping.
Oh, interesting theory.
You know, it doesn't seem to be disrupting them or destroying them. See, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
or they're pulsing something towards it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say in the world we live in today, in the heated out moment of seeing something like that, what you would think.
Yep.
And as much man-made stuff out there, I mean, I believe they could easily make something to deceive or to use to, like, you know, trick.
Yes. That's what I've been saying a lot. Don't believe anything you see or hear. My chat disappeared.
Yeah, I tell everybody all the time, I say, I don't believe anything I hear, and I only believe about a quarter of what I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, because AI can create all kinds of havoc. And that's what I was talking about too, Huckleberry, that I've heard that just recently, supposedly, allegedly, is that the word we're supposed to use?
Yeah, allegedly works good.
Supposedly, kind of, sort of.
In my
Yeah, in Minecraft, there was a missile headed towards California and a UFO intercepted it. Oh,
So you think there could be a, for lack of a better term, a galactic federation protecting us?
wouldn't that be awesome?
It'd be really interesting, man. That's a theory that's very staunchly followed, and I know a lot of people who truly believe in the Federation, and I've researched some, and I can't rule it out. It can't rule it out. Hey, Blackwatch.
Hello, Virginia, Watt, Chuck. Hi, Bonnie. Chuck. Hi, Chuck.
I feel like watch.
How are you, Bonnie?
Oh, that was a long time. This was recent that I heard this one, like. And then Watt Life was talking about the meeting, that they were really talking about those kind of things.
Yeah, I just kind of stumbled upon the article, and then supposedly they had their little meeting, and as of the 17th, which I think was Friday, they're supposed to put out some type of guidelines or something behind that. I haven't looked back to see what they posted yet.
I remember hearing about that meeting, and that he's supposed to put something out.
So when you say meeting, who was meeting?
It was
world leaders,
whoever the higher ups of the Vatican.
Okay.
And whatever connection or correspondence they may have. And of course, by the time we hear anything, it's been weeks, months, years in the making or talking about, so, But yeah, Friday, supposedly they released some new guidelines. Let me see if I can pull it, if I can share it.
I know of a retired nuclear engineer in Vegas, and this whole Cheyenne mountain thing is a part. All the rods are being stored at where they're produced, at the electric plants. They're not being shipped to any mountain or anything else in his time. They're all being stored at the facilities. He should know.
Hey, John and Cheryl.
Hey, John, Cheryl, Echo. So, Blackwatch, what do you think of the county in Colorado with that radium and etc.? What do you think of option of what that is might be, where it's from?
Well, they've all been talked about Colorado mountains, but of course there's the density, the concentration. All this occurs naturally in nature, radium and everything else. I'm not saying one way or the other, but it occurs in nature, Virginia, radium and all that. It's natural to occur.
Right, but once your water turns black, don't think that's just natural.
No, back flushing everything, and I don't know. Anything's possible. But as far as aliens go, I don't know about Area 51 or 1, whatever it is now. But do you more or less accept that you're going to be traveling over the speed of light to move intergalactic or whatever? And it's an accepted theory, at least. As you approach the speed of light, mass disintegrates. So how did they do it?
Well, that's what I want to know is how they got through is it the Van Allen belt?
And why would they do it? to find out how Bonnie's doing on her YouTube channel. I'm just want, you know, when you look at it, I don't mean to be funny about it. And then there's a theory that, you know, they're put to sleep or something, whatever you call it, in suspension. But half the time they can't get the Dairy Queen ice cream machine to work right on my Sunday. You know, I'm just thinking
That is true.
it's a real feat to do that. And you got to have a material that won't disintegrate. You know,
I'm with Primer, but see, Blackwatch, you're basing your argument on the assumption that they have to travel long different distances and survive that amount of time. What if there are A, portals, or B, what if all of time and space is right here, literally right next to you, and it's a matter of dimensions and not distance?
oh, I'm not, this isn't my argument, because at the same time, the string theory holds water, which is what, 11 dimensions. I'm just saying on our present day plane, you'd have to be exceeding the speed of light.
If this plane was all by itself going into infinity alone, that's true. But M theory and string theory is more and more plausible. If you get into this rabbit hole, it makes no sense. If you believe in infinity, this plane that we're on has to have an arc of at least 0.00000001 degree. Eventually, that's going to make a circle. It's not a straight line going into like Tron.
Granted.
So,
Yeah.
Would it not hold theory that when mass
Hey, Nanya.
goes through that portal, it's not affected when you think about it, you know? I'm just saying, you know, I keep my mind open to the, you know, not just the, you know, the Star Wars and, you know, the, you know.
I've never seen Star Wars in my life, not once, ever. Never been attracted to it. But I've read a lot of books, and I'm just saying this seems more plausible.
I'm just saying this is a common thought, Virginia, is that they find explanations in it, you know. Well, the Millennium Falcon, you know, the Wookiee just hit that thing and away it went, you know, and Warp 9, and they never said what it is. I'm just saying the way people bring theories into it, you know, from the movies.
Right.
The movies to me are just entertainment. That's all they are.
Yeah, but gravity is a theory too.
Yeah.
Theory of gravity, string theory.
Right. Yeah. And the speed of light argument, you know, all of the Einsteinian physics is all theory. And it's slowly falling apart, by the way. You know?
I went through this whole thing as far as, you know, Earth, Moon, certain planetary things. Gravity's a law. It's not a theory. There's the whole thing approaching the sun. Well, I don't want to approach the sun to figure it out. If gravity fluctuates. Like everybody says, one said to me, and I'm not going to mention a name, take an 8-pound bowling ball, and a 16-pound bowling ball, the Empire State Building, you know, you drop at the same rate of speed. What tells you it's 8 pounds or 16 if it isn't gravity? Is that a theory? You know, certain things are what they are. You know, it goes far further than Newton and an apple hitting them in the head, you know.
Which never happened.
But now they have machines that can create. It wasn't that one in the Netherlands creating portals, sort of.
Yeah, but they're also trying to open a black hole. Do you want to be around when that happens?
No.
Good. It ain't. You know, this is where man's losing their mind. You already saw it in the galaxy or whatever you call it, a black hole, supernova, whatever caused it. It isn't good. If light can't exist, you know, but they keep doing stupid things.
Yes. All of it. Everything that they're doing that is they're playing God. That's all there is to it. And I don't think some of that is going to go well.
Well, this is like the particle accelerator. You already saw this in 45. You take plutonium and uranium, you put an explosive charge, and the particles accelerate. It ain't good, but they're going to
No.
keep trying to do it.
Yeah, but that's what's coming out of those people's water. So what leaked exactly? I know that there's those things in nature to some degree, but yeah, that concentration and volatility, it definitely an anomaly, right?
Yes.
Well, I'm pretty sure if the story's right, Oppenheimer, give me the damn bomb. There's a chunk of plutonium and a chunk of uranium, and it started to collide, and he caught it. He didn't last too long, did he? I mean, what more proof do you need? Not to mess with this stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Madame Curie taught a good lesson too. Bless her heart.
Andy, is that about that helicopter part landing was the last I heard? I'm not sure what you're talking about.
What?
Rough landing.
They had and I don't know why they were, that was on Sky News that I was watching it. And the first story didn't coincide with the second story. But then they said there was contact, like there were survivors in the helicopter. But I don't know why there's so much attention on that.
The one where one out of three went down hard recently, is that what you're talking about?
In Israel or Iran, where was it at?
Iran. It's the president of Iran.
Well, you
Yes.
know,
Iran.
the world is just thrilled with the manufacturers of the Black Hawk. You do know that. Australia got hit by that.
So the president of Iran was in the helicopter.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense of why it's being
First
so.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in the headlines, but as far as the results, I don't know. The last thing that I read was that Pootie Poot sent specially trained folks to go and help find them, And what does that mean? I don't know either, Like,
Yeah.
it's very interesting. Oh, okay, anti. So is that confirmed?
Oh,
Yep. The last thing I read about half an hour ago was they were sending in specials. But yeah, that is a big deal for sure.
yeah, it is. Goodness.
Honestly, I didn't see that one coming as far as
And the country is celebrating?
Hmm.
I know. We do a lot of lately.
Right?
They had that song thing to make you go, so.
Right?
Right.
Chuck, you got TV blaring back there.
Yeah, it's in the other room.
Oh.
Probably
Right.
just taking his staff to go and hide him for the war.
Yeah, I hadn't heard much about it. I guess it says he's been in power since what, 2001?
Oh, wow. Really?
I could be wrong.
So they just stay and don't leave.
But
Yeah. Basically.
Doesn't it just go with the job and a political leader of that strength? No.
oh, I'd say so.
Somebody out there is going to take you out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the one that was that last year or the year before. Oh, what was that? And it seems like one of his guards was, no, it wasn't one of his guards. And somehow somebody got to him and stabbed him. I cannot remember who that was. It was at a big ceremony.
Oh,
Did you
Oh,
hear
no.
about, sorry. Did you hear about Niger? Is that all covered up? The country of Niger? Not to knock it, it's fact, okay? I as much pro-American as I am anything else, but they there was two bases, 101 and 201. And over a year ago, there was a coup in Niger, the country in Africa. And they said, for whatever reason, to the United States, you have a year to get out. Biden didn't do it. Now there's a no-fly zone, and the Russians are in there. You've got 1,500 people, you know, contract and everything in 201. They can't get them out. They can't.
Yeah, they're trying to push, not necessarily him. I don't think he's smart enough to create ICE, but there's a bunch behind him pushing all these buttons and everything they're doing is trying to stir the pot, start more shit.
Yeah. Could y'all excuse me for just 1 second? Y'all got this.
I hadn't heard anything about that particular country. I just looked it up and it said, one article that just said the Pentagon says they're pulling all U.S. personnel and equipment out by September
Yeah, they got to do what they did in the other country a while
from
back.
the country of Niger.
Gotcha.
In actuality, they were given a year, and that's long gone.
Yeah, oh, I imagine,
Somebody I
yeah.
know looked it up. You know, he just all of a sudden he says, "I got to say this. It's not a channel for this, but he's so frustrated with the administration, and this is where he brought it out. They had a year, and I guess it was kind of like, well, you know, we'll think about it and we'll get back to you. Now there's a no-fly zone over 201. They can't, and the Russians, the coup selected the Russians for safety, for backing. So there's a no-fly zone. They can't get them out. So I don't know what they're going to do. You know, they got to appease not only Nigerians, the Russians. They have a base there now.
Okay, so it's connected.
I hope they get them out. I do, but
I mean, who garners the most benefit from all of these plays, you know? John Dunning, I mean, that's a good question. Can an actor be held accountable for a role they play or just taken out of the show? I think in a lot of cases, they are just taken out of the show. I believe that there's like an elite witness protection program where their character gets sent off to the outside wall from Antarctica, and there are different lands and countries, islands, places, continents, whatever, that people like back in the day, Elvis would have been sent to that, or Michael Jackson recently, or certain political figures and Hollywood figures recently. And I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying this is all a movie. I'm not going all that weird, but I am saying there's going to be a elite witness protection program, and that's where some of them are. If they give up certain information or certain power, or if they're getting blackmailed and need to be bought out, or whatever it is, right? Certainly they have a place to hide, and they tell the rest of us that they're dead. Period.
does it not beg the question of the statement quite some time ago, the Cold War is over? Is it?
Oh, no, none of them ever ended.
Never
They have
will.
been ongoing. They all connect. Every single war. Go back as far as you can research in history. They all connect.
Transcends into another one.
And So there's another one that I was going to share with y'all. Is this it? No.
Huh. John called.
Bold characters, twists and turns, a bird, man, inside the sex.
No, Chuck, I'm all trying to listen to what's on your damn TV.
I still hear it even after I turned it down.
Oh, it's like a person on the panel.
Okay, here's one. I'm gonna mute to share it so y'all can hear it. And this guy shows you. It's pretty interesting if this is what's up.
That ain't better.
That's not going as planned. Are your globalist agendas failing because you're using subpar crisis actors? Well, then look no further. Hi, I'm Harrison Hanks, the ultimate crisis actor. Need a medical doctor? In 18 years as a medical examiner, I've never seen anything like it. Yeah. Yeah, it's over the top. 33 children died. Do you need a grieving husband? Did a right-winger set off a bomb? Right, yeah, we're just milling about it. I had a massive explosion. And I'm your man. Tired of melodramatic acting?
There's light away from the darkness. I'm just trying to figure out if he's okay.
I lost my 20-year-old, but I had 20 years with my son.
It's just tragedy, horror, and tragedy.
Going for the guns takes subtlety, like this. I don't know how many more need to die before the president does something. Not this.
And please, could we do something with the assault weapons?
And every one of those hands is a reason why those weapons should not be out in the general public.
Because it's kind of a situation. What has changed? Have we learned nothing?
I'm green screen ready, bonded, and insured. I can morph into 1,000 different faces. I offer reasonable rates, and I have no conscience. Just pick your card to play on the world stage.
Excellent.
That young guy was a bunch of tragedies. I forget what it was. He's always showing up in different ones a few years back.
Yeah, and we've seen the crisis actors in several different states with different things that were going on. And he's just showing how he can be male, female, anything he wants to be.
Yeah, it's something else, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to throw something out there. I could be wrong, but I look at it. Seems to me every time mankind finds something that exists, there's a machine that goes in to find 1,000 ways to destroy it so they control it. It's just the way I look at it.
When you say a machine, are you implying this happened in the past over and over, such
No,
that from ground zero, but that we're being controlled by, like we're in a computer brain.
I use machine as general, a system of something that's thrown into action. You know, they through research or something, they find something that exists, molecular or whatever, and there's just even more money is poured into how to destroy it.
We always got to find the antidote, right?
I don't.
Yes, that's what I keep saying. AI's got a motherboard.
Mm-hmm.
You know how I feel about AI, Bonnie. That's just programming. That's just script. And the concept of one machine learning from another is ridiculous. It will never work. That's like somebody speaking the same language to another. We can't even communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And figure out what the word peace means. They were going to build some machine that can learn from another and control all this.
Well, and that goes into the question that John asked, what happens when the Bible is fulfilled and we are in a new time, but not what we expected? And it's interesting that he worded it like that, because I just have seen a couple of videos where, and I kind of keep seeing Elaine touching on that in the chat, and not quite fully, but sorta. And it's so there's this theory, I guess, that it could be that things get way better and that we gain this intelligence kind of suddenly and are able to even communicate without speaking. It's just an interesting read if you come across anything like that. It's
well,
so like telepathy.
Yes.
Okay.
Whether you call it creation or evolution, you know, when you look at the fail-safes of the human mind, how could it withstand that? How could it withstand something coming in that it could not control, couldn't shut down? To me, that's the end of your mind. It's insanity.
I don't know. I think it's possible. I think that there are a lot of things that we're capable of that have been tamped down, or I don't know. I really think that we are capable of a lot more than what we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally and physically.
No doubt, but wouldn't, for the lack of a better word, morals come into it, or out of it?
Well, but that's just it. The things that I've been reading is for the better. It's for the good. That people will come together and they will treat each other with the love that God describes in the Bible. That neighbors will start helping neighbors again. That I mean,
that like people will come together, because a lot of times we talk about pessimistic views, you know, there's going to be discord, there's going to be strife and but I feel what you're saying a lot, because I argue for a silent majority. I believe in the human spirit, in the overall, most of us want the same thing, and I think that like essentially that vibration, it will continue to reverberate together. And if we are faced with threats, a lot of people assume it's just going to be the worst comes out in people, and it will for some, certainly. But I think some of the best will too. And we shouldn't always shit on each other or underestimate the human spirit for that. We all know we have a need for community. We all know that being just the last guy standing is not going to work. There are too many things out in nature that'll kill you, you know, like we need each other on some level. And John Dunning, that's a really good way to put it, the hive mind consciousness. You know, the Bible talks about like languages that'll kind of be telepathic. Well, you could say that texting or the way that we can communicate on the internet nowadays, as opposed to even around the turn of the millennium, there was no such thing as this quick of communication, or even making little languages like SMH, shaking my head, you know, that's a different language that is coming out of this system. But overall, back to your point about things possibly going good, I do think, Bonnie, that is a possibility. I do believe that more people than not are good and will try to do good, and ultimately will try to work together and build mini communities and whatever. You know, the man is going to lose that one because they don't have the heart.
Right. And I mean, I know we have the energies inside of us that there's no telling what we're capable of.
Mm-hmm. Even when you hear about a mom pulling a car off a kid, like a car rolls on a kid and you hear, well, how did you save it? Well, the mom lifts the car off the baby. That's how. That's an energy coming from somewhere, isn't it? That's the power of intention and the heart.
Excuse me.
A lot of people think I might be from a negative slant. One thing I believe, and whether the source of it, I don't know, but collective negativity or positivity works. Somehow it works.
Yeah, it does.
The joining of it, you know, some would argue where it comes from. I don't know where it comes from. It exists. You can will something. You can alter. That's what I'm saying. You can't alter reality. You know, you can't put things back together, so to speak. But the mind is very, very powerful. Very powerful.
Yeah, like a bad apple will spoil the bunch, for example. If someone comes in with a horrible energy, everyone else in the room is going to feel it, right? And same thing with a more of a positive energy. So if you believe in prayers, you have to believe in curses. If you believe in a collective praying for good, you'd have to have the opposite. The equal and opposite is a collective praying for bad. So we need to be accountable for that and raise our own intentions and have a little bit more faith in the people around us, because we're going to need each other if it pops off like we're all hoping it doesn't.
Yes.
The duality. It's the yin and the yang.
Exactly.
You know, when you talk about energies, you have to know the negative and appreciate the negative to get you back grounded to the positive. It's all a cycle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm a big, but I do electrical by one of my trades, so I always kind of relate with that.
Interesting. That's exactly what it is. Electrical.
Yes. I agree.
Or like, you know, you might hear an older person say, you know, what they used to say, oh, don't ask for sunshine and rainbows if you're gonna cry about a little rain or something like that, something to that effect.
Yeah.
But I do believe we have that power to, you know, kind of manifest, you know, just like when you're positive or things are going good, you know, you can feel that difference. But when you're down on yourself and you're just beating yourself up for no reason, you know, then you walk to the kitchen, boom, you stub your toe, you know, you bang your head on the cabinet or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It happens.
Right.
Don't remind me of that. Have you ever hit your toe and the big toenail comes off and it's hanging there? You know?
Yes.
Hey, Watt, you know, I'm sorry, Brian Watt. I thought you
Yeah.
stopped. What? I've always heard that a little different. Don't expect sunshine and rainbows when you're steadily blowing smoke up my ass.
There you go. That's the Texas version.
Yeah.
Or the Asian version, wax on, wax off, $5.
Right, right.
Yes,
Balance.
I'm gonna run out here and smoke, guys. I'll be right back.
Okay, Jeff.
Don't do it.
But yeah, and that's one thing my grandmother was real into was the higher energies. And even so, years ago, whenever Pappy Two Bears was up here with us, Victor was in chat and he was saying his knee was just really hurting him. And so Pappy told us all, okay, put your hands facing each other, palms facing each other, and concentrate on his knee. And so we all did that. And I think it was Gigi and Heather. There was several of us up on panel, and we all did that. And then we just he was like, "How do your hands feel?" And they were hot. You could feel that they just heated up. And then in a little bit, Victor said, "Wow, my knee's feeling better." And so, do I think that's possible? Yes. I mean, it coincides with the prayer. When you're praying for someone, it does help to have the details so that you can pray specifically like we're told to do. And I guess it's just a matter of and I think that that's where the warriors term comes in, is the ones that can create that energy higher than others.
Right.
From what I understand, that's been proven where the hands heat. Where I lose it is science infatuation with proving it. Why don't they just accept it? It's there. It's there.
Because they can't control it. They can't confirm it nor deny it.
That's right.
They can manipulate it, but they can't give it that essence, that entity that makes it natural. That's why they tell us in the things they give us. There's natural healing energies, and then they have the synthetic ones that they polarize and publicize, and we see every day.
But they already dealt with this. Look at Shakespeare. There's more in heaven and earth, Horatio. Isn't that
Oh, yeah.
saying?
Okay, my question is, clearly they know it has value. The powers that be make sure to downplay some of these powers of positive influence or prayer or whatever. They downplay it, but they study it relentlessly. They have proven it. And so my question is the intent, because intent is everything behind a prayer. So are they going to try and do something for good? Is this really like, oh, let's harness this energy and like the Miss USA question, oh, I just want world peace. Are they going to harness that and send that out in the Care Bear stare? Or what's the other intent here? You know what I'm saying? What's the goal?
Well, I think Watt would agree with what you've done in the body is just like a big battery when you think positive, negative, everything moving within it. So it aligns now and again. Period. It's not the matrix or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the design of it, the atomic levels, whatever. Who cares what it is? Somebody ever laid head like Bonnie's talking about, you're in pain, whatever and somebody does that, collectively or otherwise. And it works. So what? Who cares how? Who cares?
Yes, that's just it. And so when you have these people, and that's why I stay away from those channels that in the headline, it's we're doomed. It's over. It's, it's nope, that's negative. And I'm just not even going to go see what they're talking about because then it's going to put me in that kind of mood.
Mm-hmm. It puts the lens over your whole experience.
Yes.
That's the expectation right away. Ooh, let me go eat some doom, you know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's why they're trying to create so much fear.
It's
So
just a
the
battle
fear,
over your minds. I think
yeah,
inevitably, like they say, that your eyes are your window to your soul. If your eyes are your window to your soul, it's got to be in your mind.
hmm
They want to captivate it, distract it, keep us from doing whatever we should be doing.
Mm. I just don't understand why we got to know to that degree. Why?
I don't know.
well, I read that scripture a little while back about knowledge, and um, it's like we need to know what's going on to be prepared somewhat. I mean, um, but that's what's good about asking questions about everything, questioning everything. That's the discernment. Is you're trying to figure out, okay, is this real? Is this real, or is this what they used to say, Magnavox, whatever it was?
Come on, man. Is this even real?
Yeah.
Pause.
That's
And
wisdom.
go ahead, Virginia.
Oh, I just said that's wisdom.
Yes. And that's how you gain it, is by, um, you know, look how many years they've been talking about conspiracy theorists and how they just make up stuff. And then, whoa, it came true. Everything that's coming out right now, it's like a snowball even of the truth that is coming out.
So, can any of you think of a conspiracy you've heard of at any point in your life? You know, we can go back decades. Can you think of one that was really popular that was not true?
Well, we haven't figured out if the earth is flat or round yet.
You know, I think one of the OG theories was Kennedy and everything around that. You know, most of us have come to the same conclusion. But then, September, that's a big one too, and other things. And you go and look, and for a while you sounded like a total nutcase if you mentioned anything about those. And now it's like, oh, common knowledge. This is what happened. You know, more people than not believe that. So yeah, when I try to figure out with discernment, looking back, it's like, well, let me try and find an average. How many were wrong?
Yes. And I was just reading the article today about Tennessee making it to where nothing can be sprayed in their skies. They're putting into law that no pesticides, no chemicals, no anything
Yeah, I
can be.
saw that.
And so, reading the article though, it's sitting there saying, all these people of Tennessee in the House and Senate, they're all for this, but then they keep on throwing that word in, conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory is that they're trying to block the sun, or that they're putting chemicals in the air to make people sick, or, they just keep on using that narrative to easily convince people, I guess, that we're all just crazy.
Right. Gaslighting on a
But
mass scale.
they do all of those things though, but even if they shut it down in Tennessee, yeah, that sounds like a good thing, but how much stuff is Alabama spraying? How much stuff is Georgia spraying? I live here in Georgia, the wind blows a little bit, the leaching.
Yeah,
I think they've been just doing it for so long. It's like even if everybody stopped, it would take so much time for all of this stuff to just naturally do its stuff. Or you got these forever chemicals that supposedly never disintegrate; they're just always present.
yeah,
Um,
to recoup from
and
that.
they've been doing stuff like this since the 40s.
Yes.
Did Virginia bring up the JFK incident?
Yes.
Well, I watched the moon landing on television. I was old enough. I watched the assassination. And I said this to Bonnie. You watch when Air Force One landed and LBJ got out and the look on his face, there's your answer. It's kind of like, oh, am I president now?
Huh.
There's your answer to it right there.
And did you ever look into the teddy bear that he gave Jackie? Look into that teddy bear. It's very interesting. But yeah, Johnson was one of the worst things that happened.
Yes.
Overall to this country, the stuff that he started and enacted and was complicit with. He was a dark dude. And
I watched it. Sorry.
He was a local, and even the local people who knew him did not like him at all.
I watched a documentary. Another channel put it up, but I left. But anyway, and they went right through it, and they showed that LBJ, since the 40s, when he became a senator, he wanted the presidency more than he wanted life itself.
Yes.
So, and then he had to be second, right? Then you get the Dallas Mafia, and you get all these things, and Robert and John, and then Joe was told apparently, call him off, Joe, or we'll call him off. Which he
His
didn't.
attorney, when his attorney passed, you would have thought it was a presidential ceremony for the funeral. The way it was done outside, but Secret Service everywhere. Streets were blocked off. It was like.
From what I understand, LBJ was the missing link. He had all these links in the chain, and he connected them. It took his authority to connect it. And that did it.
I would say there's a few other missing links. Really unexpected ones, other ones in the car. But yeah, he was certainly very ambitious,
But there's the answer to that one to me. Without him, it would have been, if nothing else, it would have been messy. And being messy, there's all kinds of holes that people can, unravel it.
And look what JFK was working on at the time.
Yep.
When JFK went down in the limousine, was that a live event? Could people see that live happening?
Supposedly, the people at Dallas.
I don't think it was broadcast, but I think that a video from the grassy knoll was more or less the missing, the umbrella and the whole thing. But that video showed it.
But okay, Bonnie, were they doing it live locally?
I don't know that. I was a baby.
They could have did it locally, maybe. That would make more sense, maybe.
News. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I mean, back then, it would be real easy to find what footage should be there, even if it's not there anymore. I mean,
Well, and
handful of news networks, local networks. That's it. No cell phones, no camcorders. You know, you're just
yeah,
watching it happen.
and there had to be a lot of coverage because there's so many different angles that they've
Mhm.
shown.
True. Well, some that I've seen, the limo is different. Some it's two rows of seats, and some it's 3 rows of seats. Like just very weird inconsistencies with published footage, as it were. But I think all of us can agree that was dirty. And a lot of people don't know that there were signs at the time that president was not popular at all. He was really disliked. And there are posters, you can find them on the interwebs, of it was kind of like a farce poster of wanted for treason. And it was a picture of him. And then when all this happened in Dealey Plaza, you know, just like those posters became not important for the news, but they were out there. People hated he was going there so bad that there were some, and I think those were planted. This is another dot in the connected dot, is all this propaganda locally, wanted for treason. We hate this dude. And we all know who was local, you know.
Yeah.
When you look at these things, do you not get the feel there's continuity, good or bad? And they're what I'd call a rogue president, Lincoln, Kennedy. They were rogue. They didn't fit in. I'm not saying they were right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They were just rogues, and they got eliminated. You know?
Yeah, actors. One of them literally in a theater.
Yeah.
And there's arguments about Ruby that he, you know, connections. And I pointed out one time, it seemed loose. You know what I mean? Two officers, you know, holding the guy right out in front. Now today that wouldn't happen. Maybe in the day that's how they did things. You know, nothing's going to happen. Or was he put out there just for it to happen?
Security is very lax if you think about it. It was a little too lax. I don't care if it's the 60s or 50 years before that. That was very unguarded. There were way too many open possibilities, and that to the plausible deniability. That's all you need is plausible deniability.
Yeah. I mean, I have an example. It was funny. I went to a courthouse, you know, to have a case heard, you know, and which the judge will see in his chambers. It didn't go well. But anyway, I went to go to an elevator. And the doors open, and there's about 4 cops, you know, about 400 tons of cops, and this guy in handcuffs. And they kind of waved me away. And they go down to the basement, which have doors, you know, electronic doors. The guy got away. He got away. You know, so I don't know. Even with the greatest security, he still got away. You know, so I don't know. Was Ruby set up? Was everything set up? Oswald was just like the sacrificial lamb, you know, here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Well, we all know there was more than one person with a scope, and Oswald might have thought he was doing something useful, not useful, whatever. There was more than one person. And I still say it came from the car, period.
So, and if the driver was actually shot in the leg also, it had to come from the back of the vehicle, where Oswald was supposed to be would have come from the front of the vehicle. There's been a lot of weird things happen in Texas. The Waco thing and the
Have you ever heard of Samuel Harold?
Samuel.
That doesn't sound familiar.
Tell us.
Most people would say it doesn't sound familiar, but if I say the name John Wilkes Booth, what do you think about?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, John Wilkes Booth was, of course, inevitably who did Lincoln, but Samuel Harold was one of 6 other co-conspirators who were out on their own reign of supposed terror that night.
Yeah.
They were after. They went to a particular secretary, one of the presidential secretaries. They went to their house, and yeah. But yeah, most people wouldn't know who Samuel Harold was, but of course they know who John Wilkes Booth is.
I tried to look it up. Wasn't Ulysses S. Grant in that booth with Lincoln, with the curtain?
Yeah, there's stories that say yeah, because they highly despise each other. Because Ulysses was, of course, during the Civil War in the South.
There's a lot of interesting correlations between the two. I can't quote them all. There is a video out there, and it lines up the names of their vice presidents, the jobs that they came from, what they did, whatever, and it's all just a little too scripted.
Yeah, I've seen that connection between the Kennedy and the Lincoln, vice versa. Yeah.
Yep.
But I've seen those lodges or whatever you want to call it. They have the curtain, the door, and everything. And you got to imagine Booth has got to get through a few bodies before he got behind Lincoln. You have to, unless Grant was on coffee break, which that's not going to happen. No Secret Service at the time, but still, he would have been charged with the safety of the president.
Mm-hmm.
He probably had a special theater detail that night.
Yep.
I'm sorry, my phone keeps ringing. My son-in-law thinks he broke his foot.
Oh no.
Daughter's freaking out.
It can really make you wonder about how long what we've been dealing with, I think, is at minimum 4th, 5th generational warfare, minimum. And if you keep following it back, it's as far back as you can trace it. So even though it seems like there's such a disconnect between Lincoln and Kennedy, there really isn't. That was only, let's see,
80 years.
Or 90 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even 100.
Yep.
Yeah, but you really think when it came to JFK, somebody sat down and said, when did Lincoln get in, power? When did he become a senator? And then tracked JFK and said, we're going to correlate this all the way through.
And why did he always sleep with men?
Whatever happened to coincidence,
Mm-hmm.
But that's conspiracy. I'll give you one, and I'm not going to say where it came from. When that ship, cargo ship, hit Baltimore Harbor, and somebody pointed out, I'm not going to say anything, but you know how many of the crew were Ukrainian? What? What are you trying to say? It doesn't make sense. You kind of go, so much for that, It's kind of anything. If you really want to find something, isn't it true? You really, your heart's set on it. Your whole being is involved with it. You will find it, even if you manufacture
it. Sure.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Just to keep your mind together. I don't know.
Well, if we didn't already have religions or a God, if God didn't exist in some way, the Bible or whatever people believe, people would create it. There's always an assignment given to higher power somewhere. I think it's part of existential anguish. You want to believe there's more. And so we'll create it, just like we'll create discord, we'll create heaven.
Well, I think there's a quintessential question when you think about it. Is this all there is?
Mm-hmm.
Is this all I am? You know, I don't know. Continuity, the fear of death. I don't know.
It's
Man,
always been here in an essence, you know.
yep.
Yeah.
Our parents just created it from their natural essence, which they were given. It's like I don't really think nothing's really ever destroyed or gone. I think it just transcends or goes to heaven or whatever you may believe, becomes a piece of the fabric of the universe. I don't know.
I see you, Gary.
Okay.
I think it is fear of death, though. That.
Sorry.
You say you do or you don't?
I do. I do think it's fear of death. People have to create more meaning. If you can't see it or feel it, you still create it for comfort. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think
I don't fear death.
maybe we could all agree the sense of peace. It's not continual, but that sense of peace, isn't it wonderful?
Yes.
It's the biggest drug, best drug going, and it's all natural.
Yeah. Peace of mind.
And it goes away.
It's always there. You just got to find it.
Hopefully.
Yep.
I think that's a lot of times we get so caught up in the hoopla, everything that's kind of going on, we just don't find that peace of mind sometimes, that quiet space or whatever it is you need to find for that moment, if it is just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think personally, sorry, Bonnie.
That's okay.
I was just going to say, there's a song for everything, isn't there? And music is something else. But if you look, Barry Gibb lost more than he lost his other brother. And he created the song Immortality. I think it's a wonderful piece of work. Immortality.
Hey, did you guys know that Stormy Daniels come out with her own color of paint for Sherwin-Williams?
Oh, goodness.
It's called Stormy. It's not too bright. It's cheap and it spreads very easy.
Thank you, Chuck. We're all in existential anguish, and here comes Chuck.
I had to throw it off.
You know what Chuck reminds me of with that stuff? It's kind of like I told you to duck for that cream-filled donut coming across the room. That'll be a few loads of washing.
I have a scripture pulled up that I want to read y'all. This is 2 Timothy, and I'm going to start with verse 12. Yes, and all who desire to live godly in Christ Jesus will suffer persecution, but evil men and impostors will grow worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. But you must continue in the things which you have learned and been assured of, knowing from whom you have learned them, and that from childhood you have known the Holy Scriptures, which are able to make you wise for salvation through faith which is in Christ Jesus. All Scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, thoroughly equipped for every good work.
I tell you what, that when you read the part about being deceived, I think that's one of the biggest things that sticks out in my mind. And I think Indy said something several minutes ago about that. So many of us will be deceived. And that's why that question about, look, you see something in the sky or you see something come toward you that seems interworldly, how are you going to know whether it's good or not? Are you going to be deceived? Are you going to know? And why? Why do you?
And it says they'll become worse and worse. So,
And it's weird in the world of instant connectivity and smart devices. It seems like some people get more disconnected and more, yeah, you know, the thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely. I don't know. It just definitely, I guess it seems more tough these days. Got so much more access to stuff.
It's entropy, right? So we can neither create nor destroy energy. There is an equal and opposite reaction, and everything is heading to entropy. And that's why balance is so important. If we don't do that, the chaos will take you over.
yes, balance is key.
Mm-hmm.
But it begs the question, can one entity exist without the other? I don't think so.
No, and that's why there has to even be good and evil.
Yep.
So you have a choice, but it's got to be there to make that choice.
Remember, though, if you're in a dark room, like all the walls are painted black and you have a tiny pinprick of light with light one map, it will slowly but surely light up that whole room. So don't forget where the power is. You know,
Yeah.
you can put a tiny bit of light in there, and the I can picture it right now. And it's so kind of weird. Like the walls are all of a sudden will start to light up, whatever, from one candle.
Yep.
Begs the question, can something get so dark that it doesn't exist? I don't know.
That dark doesn't exist, or the candle?
Well, the whole concept of the human eye picking up, where it goes to nothing.
Mm.
It's still there.
Mm-hmm.
It's still there. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, you're going on an atomic level there. I feel you. Yeah. Could it get into such a vacuum that the light doesn't even? Yeah, I imagine you'd have to exceed the speed of light, wouldn't you?
It's always there.
It's always there.
The heat, the energy signature, always there. Your perception, visibility of it, that's irrelevant to its existence, right?
But if you listen to the first, and I hate to harp on it, first chorus of Immortality, this is who I am, and this is all I know, and I must choose to live with all that I can give, the spark that makes the fire glow. Right there, that's it.
Yes, it is. That was really good.
Yep. And excuse me a minute, Wayne Sanford, I'm so glad you're here tonight. I am sorry that I missed your comments the other night. And when I went back and looked at the comments and saw what you were going through, just know you're in my prayers.
Good to see you, Wayne.
You know what I do with that, Bonnie? If I miss a comment, I just blame Frog, and it works.
No, I wasn't seeing much of any of the comments, and
You didn't.
then whenever I went back to look at, I wanted to see what the comments were, and I saw that, and I was like, oh, bless his heart. That's rough. He's just going through a hard time. And if y'all can keep him in your prayers. Hey, David.
Hi, David.
pay no attention to the squirrel in the chat. She can't even spell my name right, so just let her fly by.
Hey, anyway, he anti. Hey, everybody. I'm over here being quiet because I got noise in the other room.
Chuck, you're so funny, dude. Actually, just now when you came up, the TV was not evident. Like,
I think they either muted it or went outside. That's in the next room with the door shut.
no, you sound good now. What do you think?
They may have turned it down. That and I moved the mic towards the wall.
I don't hear any background noise at all.
Nope.
No, I don't hear anything.
Vicky gets to watching that show Castle, and she has it so loud you can feel what's going on.
Hey, big chap. Good to see you. It's been a minute.
Did you ever see the original uncut version of The Wizard of Oz? With all the flames going up and the imaginary thing, and it's pay no attention to the squirrel behind the curtain.
Yeah.
That one, yeah.
You know, The Wizard of Oz has a darker meaning, talking about your straw man.
Oh, yeah.
Not having the heart and all that. I can go into the detail of it. It's messed up. Look it up sometime, everybody, if you want.
For sure. The yellow brick road was very symbolic, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
Did you know that movie never made a profit till almost the end of the 20th century?
Really?
Wow.
It never made it cost over $3 million to make. I think, what was it, 39 or something?
Yeah.
It finally crested 20 million.
People just didn't get the innuendo shit to it.
Was it kind of the same with the Chocolate Factory?
What?
Or is that me imagining things? Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory.
I heard there's something to that too. I never looked because it's probably English.
Oh, goodness.
Hey, chap. David, make it even more awesome. Get your ass up here, bud.
Right.
Not that it really means anything, but the first publication of The Wizard of Oz just had its anniversary. It was published on May the 17th, 1900.
Wow.
And it was, of course, made into the movie many years later.
I guess it took them that long to get a monkey to fly.
Takes time. Those things take time.
Yeah.
Or all the little people. Yeah.
Even now, they got to set up the green screen, the camera. You got to pay the guy.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi, she played the witch on her year. She looked pretty good back then for being 50 years old.
Goodness.
Yeah.
I did see something with her speaking ages ago, I guess. She really was pretty younger.
She reminded me of that girl that played on Seinfeld all the time with the rest of the guys. I can't remember her name. Something Dreyfus or whatever. Julia.
Elaine.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Look at Nancy Pelosi and look at her when they were young.
Dreyfus.
Well, and it's the personality that, to me, changes their looks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What was that movie they had out here a while back that he only seen people how they acted, not how they looked? Shallow Hal.
Pelosi was a model. Whoa.
Man, it's hard to imagine.
I know. Now it is.
Man,
She modeled her ass off being the Wicked Witch.
definitely not looking it up. Just take your word for it.
What do you say, my pretty?
Oh my goodness. No, you don't.
It could have been worse. Glinda could have looked like Tammy Faye, you know. Digest that one.
Yeah. Yeah, Tammy Faye's eyelashes screamed, "Helter Skelter!"
Oh God, poor woman.
I forgot all about her. No, she was a doozy.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi's nickname over the radio is Gray Goose, so it tells you how much she drinks.
Oh, Gray Goose. That's funny.
Can you imagine Tammy Faye's doorbell, Avon calling, and there's 6 tractor trailers outside? Oh God.
That's an interesting story, though. Like, there's a movie about Tammy Faye and her husband. It might have been called Tammy Faye. I'm not sure. Maybe a decade old. And it's a interesting story. Like, they got caught up in the money and drugs and no better than anyone else, you know, and even dude might be, you know, a little homo and went to jail for all this fraud. And it's kind of a fascinating tale of people rising with greed, and then it eventually will come tumbling down, you know. It's a good lesson.
One thing I don't get, and I was talking to somebody, proliferation of electric car plants opening here. That bothers me because that will not work in my estimation.
No.
It's not it just can't work. Not there yet. What are they going to do at the end of that? They got one, some Japanese country opened one at 1 point something billion, and it's a separator for lithium. That can't be good. And it's right near a waterway. You know, somebody's going to make a hell of a lot of money out of this. And then
yeah. And what Big Chap's talking about there, Hammerman got 30 years.
Huh.
Would it be as simple as just don't buy one? I don't know.
Right?
Yes.
You know?
Definitely.
I heard a story. I heard a story, and from what I can tell, it's true. You know where the update, you buy a Ford, GM, doesn't matter, Tesla, and some 15-year-old hacked the update program, and the cars would only turn right if you put it on. Right there tells you, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, duh.
It's true. As an electrician, a lot of the homes we wire up, think about it, all the devices that are coming out are now smart. Smart TVs, watches, smart refrigerators, stoves, everything's connected with the Wi-Fi.
Yes.
You can also get, there's a particular style of breaker that you can control by your phone and stuff. All of that stuff can be easily compromised.
Yep.
And even on the electric car aspect, imagine somebody buys the car and they call me, the electrician, to come out and install their charging box. Well, I open their breaker box, they don't have any space. So now they got to probably spend anywhere from $3,000 to possibly $6,000 maybe for a whole electrical upgrade in their home to even accept this car charging port.
It'd probably take, what, 100 amp, 200 amp service just for that, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Oh, you'd want at least a 250. We've run into this few that only had 150 amp service. You know, we had to upgrade it because they were already maxed out.
That's probably
Or
why
people that want these tankless water heaters. Yeah, it sounds good, but you got to have the breaker space. There's some out there that take 260 amp breakers.
Yeah.
That's probably why you see a lot of these people car charging and the wires smoking.
Yeah, or else they just quit charging. I've seen that happen. We've got some Tesla chargers inside this little dinky town, and there's been some issues. and they've got it right next to the gas pumps. And so when they first put that in, everybody was like, "What?" And why right there? Did they have to have fuel next to them, or I don't know.
I saw a video yesterday, Bonnie, that the charging wire that comes out of I guess you call it the meter head, the top head on it, bigger than a quarter, was gone. They said on there that the local volunteer chemists in the neighborhood stole. They cut them off the top and took the plug and all, stole all the cables off. And there was like 6 or 8 of them charging ports. They put them up one day, next day they were gone.
Wow.
Oh, I'd imagine, yeah, that's nothing but copper.
Yeah. Imagine 10 feet or so of that, big around as a quarter. How much copper's in that?
Good to know.
So how long does it take? It takes about 4 or 5 minutes to fill a car with gas. How long does it take to charge one of these?
What I've seen is 3 to 4 hours.
Oh my goodness.
It depends on how many amps to charge or to hold and all that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a cell phone or another charging device, you know. Yeah, you can buy an aftermarket charger for it that can do the same thing for a limited time, but it's just not designed to ultimately charge that device for its lifetime. So that's kind of where they get you. You kind of got to buy their device to charge it.
Because otherwise,
So that's another fee.
It'll screw your charge memory up if you don't have the right one on it.
Yeah.
But that's the point, isn't it? What you know this was what you do. You never get rid of it. Degradation. Degradation. That word. You know, how long will it last?
Oh yeah.
What's the result? And you also said Wi-Fi. I've done computers for a while now. And that's what I did at the end. You're not going to secure it. You never will. Fully. You know.
No, you got refrigerators that's got a screen that's playing Netflix on it, you know?
Right. That's right. Alexa, you know. Alexa.
Someone was telling me that some refrigerators can
That was me telling you about it. It was like they had an app for Kroger or somebody that
yes.
ordered milk for me, cheese, and bologna in it. Next thing you know, that they showed up and brought their groceries to them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If you got the cash, they'll bring it to you, whatever you want.
Yeah. They were ordering it on the refrigerator. They had the refrigerator door open and said, "Okay, Google," or "Okay, Alexa," or whatever. And next thing you know, that it's an order, blah 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 blah. And then when the lady closed the door in the fridge, she goes, "It'll be here in about a half hour, an hour."
I get lucky and have a drone bring it to you.
Yeah. Oh, we got to watch out for them, especially if you see fancy ones. They might, and it'll tell them what kind of Christmas present you can shoot out of the sky and get.
I dreaded it, but I went to the Wally World thing yesterday, and I got out and I heard a little buzzing. I looked up and sure enough, it was a drone right there. I seen a guy with a vest walking in front, and I walked up to him. I said, "You getting any good action shots?" Just messing with him, and he said, "No, I'm just doing a building survey right now." And I said, well, "What prompted you to do that? What prompted the survey of the building?" And he said, "I don't know. They just sent me out to get a survey with the drone."
Yeah.
He had a nice one.
I'll never get over it, what you just said. Chevy Chase, let's go to Wally World, and he punches that thing in the nose.
Yeah.
It's that thing. That was a good movie.
Walmart will never be as great as it was when you could go to Walmart at like 1:30 in the morning. You would see the weirdest stuff, I promise you.
Yeah, but it's like the redneck malls everywhere.
I should have clipped the video and run it now.
If Huckleberry's still out there, he knows the one I know talk about over in Shreveport on Mansfield Road. That's what they call the Keyfield Mall over there. If you're hunting for anybody on the weekend and go up there to Walmart, you would find them half drunk riding around in a handicap thing, picking up munchies.
And that's grandma.
Yeah.
Our grandma was walking, pushing a buggy. These people over there are so messed up that the handicap means the first person that can get it.
You know what the worst part is? Grandma's carrying a CCW permit.
Yep.
You already know.
I got a woman got pulled over. She said, I got a gun in my purse, my console, my glove box, and under the seat. Ma'am, what are you afraid of? She said, not a damn thing.
It's all.
I was in a chat one night, and I'll never forget it. And you have a different culture, you know, about weapons. That being said, but somebody was talking about hair triggers, putting a hair trigger, you know, on a 45 or something.
Yeah.
So someone seriously said, "Well, look at the old lady. She hasn't got strength to do it, to pull the trigger. So she has to have that." And the next breath, apparently, she had a medical condition, so she was smoking weed. Now I got, you know, a 90-year-old woman with a 45 with a hair trigger. She died. Oh God.
You know.
Really.
And a revolver's not hard to do.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'll never forget when they came out with Yosemite Sam about, you know, 6-shooters. That's anyway.
Thank you for coming up, Virginia. You're still listening.
Now everybody wants to be Yosemite Sam.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Not for the ones that want to protect themselves, but dummies that get a hold of them, you know.
Yes.
I don't fear somebody that's knowledgeable and respectful. It's the people that don't have that respect or knowledge that you don't know what they'll do.
I always like Foghorn Leghorn. I say there, boy.
Don't get me wrong. There was a night, June the 30th, some years ago, and I wish I could have found a Glock in the front hall closet. So there's a time and a place for it. You know?
June 30 something years ago. That's almost my birthday. Man.
And I would have used it and not regretted it. But anyway.
Well, that's what I've heard some people, they think that we just go around everybody, and that's not the way it happens. I even posted a meme on my community page of how they used to teach gun safety in the classroom. And even when my kids were in school, my son, I had him take a hunting safety course, even though he had been hunting since he was 11, 12 years old. But they did away with all those courses. And so when you teach a child that, though, they realize what the danger of a gun is and also how to use it correctly, clean it, take it apart, where nobody's going to get hurt. And because around here we hunt, I mean, that's half the freezer is what we can hunt.
It's that knowledge and that respect that just doesn't get passed down. Yeah, because they used to have classes like that and archery classes and, you know.
Yes, yeah, I took archery in school. My girls, I got them in archery whenever they were in school. So, yeah, we're
And
all good with archery.
to a
And
big degree, I guess it would definitely depend on if you was kind of raised more rural than city. You know, in the country versus in the city, you're gonna have more access, I guess, to it. You're gonna be hunting, fishing,
that's true.
doing that type of lifestyle.
Yeah.
You do have to worry about the outlook, the mentality, whatever you want to call it. And if you look at it, have you ever seen Baby Boom, the movie? You know, she inherits the little girl and everything, and the job goes and she moves out to the country and she buys like a money pit. The roof goes. And then she doesn't have water. So the guy, a small town, and the plumber, whatever you want to call it, comes out, goes all the way down the well. He comes out, he says to her, "Your well's dried up." And she says, "Oh, thank goodness, just take the garden hose and fill it up."
Yeah.
You know,
Doesn't quite work that way, but
yeah, you gotta wonder.
yeah. I really think that there's a reason that they took home ec, all of that out of the schools.
They don't want the kids to be able to do the simplest shit.
Well, here we still have shop class, but not home economics. And that, I remember too, we would go out in the parking lot and choose a vehicle. Whoever wanted to let us use their vehicle that day, open up the hood and learn the parts and what to do if it won't start, how to change the plugs, how to hook up the battery, how to hook up the charger to the battery. It was um, it was like basic knowledge. Even though when I lived in the city, we used to have a bicycle safety thing where you'd have to go up to the school. They would have these officers there, and you had to do a course. And now they just take off on a bicycle and
I
no.
heard, sorry,
That's okay. Go ahead.
I heard some of these cars, I could be wrong, you know, computer driven, that they almost shut down at a red light. And then you give it, is that true? That you kind of give it a bit of whatever and it wakes up, so to speak? I don't know if
Yeah.
any, you know what it reminds me of? I had a 69, I got a used 69 Nova SS 396, and I guess one of the mechanics saw the oil embargo coming, but I traded it on a 72 Nova. Get this, carbureted days, remember that? And I'd go to an intersection, and I was married. It's kind of like, I'm going to get killed. It just stalled out. So I figured I got to get rid of it. Brand new car. You know, nobody could figure it out. You know, and I got committed. You know, I took the money and everything else. You know what it was? They put the graphite filter in backwards in the floor.
Like what, when you said you got committed, I thought you meant they locked you up in mental. I'm sorry. That just popped in my head out of nowhere.
Yeah. And whenever you had those computers and stuff like that, yeah, you may get some comfort, I guess, or something, but inevitably it's something that's gonna fail.
Hey, Team Marco. Good to see you.
I have the vision of, remember Arnold Schwarzenegger in Mars, you know, to go to Mars? And he had
Yeah.
that robot he's driving and he rips it out of the seat.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Now that's prophetic, isn't it? You know, but I don't know. Aliens put in the ice glaciers and and Mars had an atmosphere and
like what do you say, terraforming?
Well, it was a city with all the mutants, everything the Earth didn't want. You know, they
That's
populated.
Total Recall, right?
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
Total Recall. Yeah. And
They remade it a couple years ago, but of course it wasn't as good as the original.
no, nothing ever is. I
Nothing.
hear they're redoing Beetlejuice, and they're going to get Michael Keaton, but they're not going to have all the original people. That was a cool movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, nothing can compare to the first one. That was.
I haven't seen an original idea. I can't think of an original movie I've seen or show. It all seems to be remakes or something, you know, an old series or movie they remake or a novel.
Yeah. Best one of Beetlejuice where she goes, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, and she starts thinking about it. He said, that's sad.
Yeah. I think it's coming out this year. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think, something about 2024.
I like when he's controlling them around the table.
The movie itself wasn't really that good, but the newest Flash movie they made, they tried to link it together with Batman, and they brought Michael Keaton back to play a version of Batman.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool for the nostalgia, but the movie wasn't really that good.
Lori Lightfoot is Beetlejuice.
I can see the resemblance there. I could.
Right.
Doesn't seem like a very nice person.
Mm-mm. I saw an argument today between Marjorie Taylor Greene and AOC, and I was sitting there thinking, this is in the House floor that this is happening, and it was total chaos, and I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It's a clown show up there. All it is.
The 80s had a lot of good movies when I think about it.
Probably some of the better ones.
Oh, it was. One after another after another. But the sad part, from what I heard, is Winona Ryder never got anybody to tally her bananas.
Hey, I'm sitting there nodding. No, I'm going to go ahead and jump off here. Y'all have a good night. Much love and good to see y'all.
You take care, Chuck.
Good to see you. Buddy. Good to see you again.
Bye.
Thanks for coming out. It was, Indy. I guess you saw it too. It was a mess. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and shut this one down. We've covered a lot of topics.
Well, leave everybody with this thought. Leave everybody with this thought. You got to finish the sentence. A day without Chuck is like a day without, and everybody fill in the blank. That's your homework.
Bacon.
I already know my answer. It's like a little brother.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of them I plan to go meet. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It may surprise y'all.
There you go.
Look who I found.
I hope y'all have a wonderful and blessed week.
Thank you, Wildlife. You also.
Yeah.
Black Watch, thank you for coming out. And I'm going to close it with another song. Of course.
Good night, y'all.
But there is one last question, Bonnie.
Not that well.
One last question.
What?
Are the seams in my stocking straight?
Of course they're straight. You wouldn't go out in public with crooked seams.
No. Anyway, thanks for having me out. It's been fun.
Thank you for coming up.
Okay.
So this song, Indy sang it Friday night, and I just it strikes a chord. Let's see.
Somebody save me from myself. I've spent so long living in hell. They say my lifestyle is bad for my health. It's the only thing that seems to help. All of this drinking and smoking is hopeless, but feel like it's all that I need. Something inside of me is broken. I hold on to anything that sets me free. I'm a lost cause. Baby, don't waste your time on me. I'm so damaged beyond repair. Life has shattered my hopes and my dreams. I'm a lost cause. Baby, don't waste your time on me. I'm so damaged beyond repair. Life has shattered my hopes and my dreams.
Alrighty.
Are we gone?
Truth. No, not yet. Y'all have a good night. Don't know when I'll go live again. Busy week. Hopefully new roof this week. Got the new windshield. I got trees being cut this week. That's what's happening. Tree limbs over the roof. Y'all hang in there. We're going to get through this. Y'all are doing great. Remember the title. We shall not be moved. Love y'all. God bless you. Good night.